to day three, everybody, on how to make a bunch of money using high-level AI ads and Billie Jean. I'm a little hesitant because we don't like the words how to make $1 million, but that's because we want you to know results may vary. What Billy and his team is sharing is obviously from his experiences, strategies, and I've been part of Billy's community for years, and we've met a ton of agency owners. But what's really cool about Billy's team is the team that is behind Billy. And it's a great group of people. I get the chance to meet with them in person once in a while with our events and, a lot of the networking we do, sponsorship and all these different things. So let me welcome Hector and Rhea to the stage. Well, they're literally on a stage, so which is really cool.
Literally.
This is the studio in San Diego. Welcome, y'all.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having us. I think before we begin, just to kind of like set the stage, some of you are probably like, where's Billy? Clearly, we are not Billy. But yeah, like Paulson said, my name is Rhea. I've been working with Billy for over 8 years now. I came here right out of college. Everything I know about advertising, digital marketing, I learned from being here. I manage our YouTube ads currently, help with marketing, obviously, and then I'm also a big role when it comes to teaching and like creating our curriculum and stuff with Billy. And then this is Hector.
Hector, yes, I'm the CMO here. I've been here for 7 years. So my background mainly came from Google, but then when I came here, I learned so much of the Facebook side, the ad side, the creative side, the funnel building side, which we do on HighLevel, and then also the managing side, right? So just to kind of give you a little of what we've done. I mean, in the last month, we've spent about $600K in ads, and then everything from beginning to end. We were the team that created it.
Wow.
So everything goes through HighLevel, our entire sequence, and we're definitely ready to show you everything that we do to make, even when we're spending that much, to make our ads and our funnels profitable.
Mhm. Yeah, so
Absolutely. Oh, go ahead, Rhea.
yes. Yeah. So I was going to say, so today, so like Hector said, we are the ones who build everything. Obviously, Billy's the front. He's like strategy and everything. But when it comes to actually getting into high level, building things out, creating the upsells, like all those things, that's what Hector and I do every single day. So we'd love to answer any questions you guys have, whether it's like how we use high level, what our funnels look like. I know Billy, the first day we talked about creating an agency, and that's really like the $1 million blueprint. I used to manage our clients back then when we were a full agency. So if you have any questions about like how do you manage those clients, what does that even look like, I'm happy to answer those questions as well. So yeah, I really just want to keep this open and give you guys as much value
Absolutely.
as possible.
Absolutely. So before we get started, you guys, I need a lot of loving in the comments and in all the channels. So we have superstars in the house today teaching us from
Thank you.
practical applications, building agencies and things like that. And by the way, Hector and Rhea are part, and along with a couple of other people in Billy's team, they're
Yeah.
part of the entire coaching program and the teams behind Billy's courses and events and things like that. So from what I remember from my own firsthand experiences, we used to be able to jump into office hours. We would have Friday all hands calls with all the students. We meet with a ton of agency owners, and I assume the experiences are still the same. Can you share a little bit about your program? And also, Hector, if you don't mind, tell us the difference between try this free trial versus train with Billy. I know those are two different links we have. Rhea, first, maybe talk about the program, and
Yeah.
Hector, maybe give us some notes on the trials.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, absolutely. So yes, similar to what Paulson was saying, our 16-week program that we talked about earlier this week, that is a live hands-on class. We have training every Tuesday. That's our main class with Billy, where he's walking you through pretty much like A to Z how to start a online AI powered advertising agency. So whether you're starting from scratch and you want to start your own agency, or you want to bring your marketing in-house, scale your business if you already have an existing one, like how to use AI to power that. That's the main focus. And that's what we're doing like the 16 weeks. So by the end of the 16 weeks, you're going to have like either a full-blown agency ready to go, or you're going to have your AI powered funnel to scale your business. And what that entails, we got those Tuesday live class. And then like Paulson said, we have office hours. So Monday through Friday, you have Hector, you have myself, you have the other marketing team, other members of the marketing team. We host a Zoom class like this. We share screens with you. We dive into your accounts, just like anything we can do to support you and make sure that, you are getting the most value and setting you up for success. Like our team is very, very hands-on and supportive there. So that's what you get during that 16 weeks. Like we're here, we got you.
I love it.
And then try this trial. That is going to be a high-level trial for 30 days. It's usually 14. They're hooking it up for trythisfreetrial.com for 30 days instead. And then also, if you already have a trial, there are options on that page as well to upgrade your membership. But yeah, pretty much, that is the standard for us. We use HighLevel for absolutely everything. It's what helped build and scale our business so much. So yeah, we're really excited to be here and show you how that's impacted us and, all the little strategies and techniques and tactics that we use to make everything that we do, successful.
I also want to add too, for those of you who take that trial, all of like the resources, the worksheets, the full pitch deck yesterday that Billy went through, if you get your trial, we're going to give you that. So make sure you get on that trial so that you can get all of those bonuses and all that extra, because that sales training was fire. It was so good.
It's free. It's
Yeah.
free. Everybody's getting it.
I love it. And also, just in case if you jump into a trial, someone from the HighLevel team will also jump on a Zoom call with you, help you set up kickoff and all these different fancy stuff. And that's usually a one-on-one Zoom session, or I believe at speakwith.us/success. So help me understand the format you want to follow, Rhea and Hector. Do you want to go through some slides or share some ideas of, the behind the BTS, behind the 600K that y'all spent, I think literally like last month, and then maybe we can do a Q&A? Is that what we're thinking? Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we can do that. So we can start with, we want to just show you guys the funnel that we've been running and that's been killing it for us. And then I guess while we do that too, if you guys want to start putting in some like Q&A questions so that we're ready to go once we kind of like go through this. And then of course, if there's any questions as we're going through and kind of pulling back the curtain on our funnel, we're happy to answer those as well.
I love it. And make sure you type in the letter Q or the word question before you actually label out your questions in the comments. That way I can see that it's an actual question versus just a ton of comments that I've got to sort through. But before we get started, y'all, can we get some love in the building? We've spent weeks and weeks planning this, and I want to make sure Rhea and Hector, Billy, Paul, there's so many people behind the scenes that are, even in our team as well. I want to make sure everybody gets their flowers. A lot of times people say, oh, Paulson, great job, great job, great job. And I know I'm just the talking microphone in the front, and that's not the reality of the actual process to build this all out. So there's so much work behind the scenes. I want to make sure everybody gets their flowers, or at least just an appreciation note. So make sure you comment and interact with us in the streaming. Help us understand how to help you. And that's really the whole point of it. So let me go ahead and unpin myself. Rhea, if you want to share screen or go through with it, feel free. And let's get started.
All right, cool. So if you want to go to my screen, Paul, my computer here. So first I want to start with kind of just like overview. This is what we like to call a lucid chart. Every time that we are starting a new funnel or a new offer, it's really important for us to visually see what's happening, because as you can see, it's a lot. There's a lot of moving parts. And once we kind of like set it up once with this automation, it's kind of like it does its own thing. So it takes some work to set it up, but then it's just kind of like set it and let it be. So I want to kind of go through every single like step and like what's going through and kind of comment on it. So with every funnel, we always start with our ad. Our bread and butter is Facebook and YouTube. That's where we spend the most. That's where we spent our 600,000. As you can see, we have several different ads that we test out on Facebook and YouTube, but the one that's been like really killing it for us recently is this one right here. I won't play the whole thing, but we can maybe watch like the first like 30 seconds or so. Paul, I think I sent it back to you if you can play it on your end so that we can get some sound, please. Let's just play the beginning of it.
Can I show you something that kind of messed me up? This is a ribbon that represents 100 years. And depending on how old you are when you're watching this, you've probably already lived about a third of your life. So this is gone. And unfortunately, most people don't make it to 100 years old. We only make it till about 80. So we probably won't see this side of life, which unfortunately means this is how long you have to live. And unfortunately, most people will spend this much time working, doing something they hate, missing their kids growing up, living paycheck to paycheck, tens of thousands of dollars.
Okay, that's just the first like 45 seconds. How long is this video in total? 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess you want to talk about a little bit like how we came up with this idea of like the video and like maybe a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, every brainstorming session really starts in the conference room where we held the last 2 days. And it pretty much came from, the frustrations, that people are having in life when working, right? We always talk about here, you spend most of your life working and less living. So I think that that message resonated with a lot of people. So once we have that foundation and that theme, we build upon that, and then that is our opener, right? So with what you'll be seeing when we show you in our funnel, the most important thing for a video is going to be the first 10 to 15 seconds. The most important thing of a page is going to be the headline and subheadline. If you don't have a yes, if they're not reading that, and if they're not listening, and they don't nod their head and say yes and agree in that moment of time, no matter how good the rest of your video is, or no matter how good the rest of your page is, without those initial hooks, we're not going to really get people taking action on certain steps. So the ad right there, that's where the concept came from. It really resonated with people. It's been something that we've been running and spending a lot on for the last, 3-4 months. And, that's really the foundation of, how it came about. But yeah, we can go with the rest of the funnel. If anyone has questions on, ad stuff, let us know, but we can go ahead and continue.
A couple of things I actually want to point out. Let's go back to my screen. Like just on like the ad itself. So as Hector said, like we have been running this for a few months now, but this ad, and it's super important, like the social proof of it. So we have a ton of different campaigns running at the same time because we have different audiences that we're targeting. But the biggest thing is every single campaign in Facebook is using the exact same ad, like the ad post. So that's how we have all of these like 2,000 comments, 10,000 shares. So that's just like a little tip there, is like social proof helps a lot. So having the same ad and everyone seeing the same, all the traffic going through the one thing, that really helps build that trust, build that credibility. Because especially to a cold audience, they're seeing Billy for the first time and they might not know who he is or what this is about. So having that social proof definitely helps like lower our cost per click, stuff like that.
100%. And then just add one more thing to the copy, right? As you can see, it's literally 2 lines, right? It's a 2-line copy. If you have a good sales mechanism as far as a video that explains the offer, all you need is a line or two for the copy, because all we're trying to do here is just point people to watch. We don't need them to read, or we don't need them to do anything else. The goal is to get them to watch the video and click play.
Another thing too to add to that, just a little like tips and tricks of like what we're doing and like why we do certain things. So as you can see here in the copy itself, it says explained in 6 minutes and 24 seconds, which might seem a little confusing because the video is actually 12 minutes. But the reason why we do that is, nobody wants their time wasted. They don't have enough of it. So we let them know like, hey, you're going to get value and it's only going to cost you 6 minutes. And for that first 6 minutes, yes, it's super valuable. But then the second half of that video, it's Billy pitching the offer, right? Yeah. So that's that kind of strategy. And we use that often in headlines and ad copy. So always giving them like this exact minute and seconds, because this is what you're going to get. So
that's very important. And for anyone who's not selling a digital product like we are in this specific case, if you want someone to get in your calendar, time is huge, right? Letting them know that if you can, answer their questions or give them a certain outcome in less time, people are busy. We love that. Helps conversions.
Yeah. All right. So let's keep it going. So after they see this ad, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, we then bring them to our HighLevel sales page. So this is built in HighLevel, every single bit of it. It's pretty straightforward. Again, we have a headline up top. If I needed to make 10,000 in March 2024, this is also super important. It makes you feel like it's current, it's not outdated. We update that every month. Got to make sure that's updated. And then click play on the video. And I believe this is like the same exact video. So if you didn't watch the whole thing in the feed, you could watch it again on this page. But yeah, when we work on these sales pages, you want to talk about that, Hector? Like kind of what goes into it and what we do?
Yeah, no. I mean, again, it's simplicity, right? With this specific offer, it's about $100. We don't need a ton of explanation. The video already does that. So what we want to do is we want to have someone get through the page, read kind of bullet sentences, as you can see here, and get through pretty quickly and make a decision, right? We do, if you do look at, what we offer, we are talking about helping someone's business grows or making more money, right? So it's very important that we have a guarantee. I think having a guarantee in any product or service is, something that's going to build a trust. So right there, if anyone is unhappy at any moment, they don't like the program, we put our phone number for trust, we put our email for trust, and they can get a full refund, no questions asked, right? So that is part of the offer, and that is what drives everything. We have an email list, maybe of 1 million people. We sent out emails, and we give an offer, and we make a few $100, maybe 2,000, right? We find a killer offer, we do something, and we make 1 million. It's night and day. So the offer is really important, how you craft that on the page. And this all took a little time, but this specific offer is doing really well for cold traffic.
And a couple of things I want to point out here too is just like the simple things that we cover on this page. Like this is offering, it's a 10-day course, basically an AI marketing business plan. But as you can see here, like it's really just these bullet points. We have our checkout, and then we have some credibility down below, but we don't tell them exactly day by day what's happening, because I feel like sometimes when you give too much information, people can kind of talk themselves out of the sale. So we just kind of give them a general, like, this is what you're going to be doing, using AI and social media to help small businesses get customers in exchange for money. We don't need to tell them how every single day is going to work.
Yeah, and that's part of the offer too, and we focus a lot on the outcome for them. When we work with people, a lot of people talk about themselves first. It's okay to talk about yourself. We do. More closer to the end, but people are most interested in their outcome, what the trade's going to be. The trade here is, we're going to help you get more customers for your business or scale an ad agency, and then you give us $100, and that's the trade. And then we put a little, sauce on it too.
And this important note. So in this like digital world, like our audience is usually like middle-aged human and a lot of them are beginners and they don't have like the tech or the marketing skills, and this program, this 10-day course, is really catered to beginners. So that's why we always want to like address that objection so that people don't feel limited, that they feel like they can't do this. AI is scary, it's intimidating, blah blah blah. But we tell them like there's literally like no skills required, and you can do this remotely anywhere from the world, because that's like a hot thing, right? Yeah. So we let them know like you can do it, don't worry about it, because it's made to be like that.
But kind of to sum this page up, what we do here is hot offer. We make it punchy, the page punchy, easy to read and understand, and make a decision quickly, and handling objections. That's pretty much the gist here.
Yeah. And then just a couple like really cool things that HighLevel allows us to do on this sales page. So number one is just, a timer, having that urgency. I think it's like 30 minutes initially. So having that, you got 30 minutes to take this offer, to use this coupon code. Like that is really important. So always make sure you have urgency on your sales page. But this other thing that we've been doing, and doing heavily because of HighLevel, because they make it so easy, is having an actual like coupon code. So let me show you guys how that works. So this is a 2-step order form, really simple. They give you their name, email, and their phone number, and then they click the button. And then you'll see on the next step here what the actual offer is. So it says Billy's 10-day AI business blueprint. It's $200, but if you enter the coupon code save now down here, and something about like actually typing in a coupon code, like makes someone feel like they're actually getting a discount. Like even though we could just sell it for $100 and say, hey, it's already 50% off, but like physically typing it in, I think gets someone to commit more a little bit. At least that's what we believe and what has worked for us. So yeah, as soon as they type in that coupon code, you can see the coupon is applied, and now it's only $99. So that's like a really cool feature that I love about like HighLevel, how easy it is that we can just have a coupon code in there. And I think it's like one switch in the editor to turn on that coupon code. Yeah. So that's actually helped a lot with conversions. And then the other thing I want to point out here is you can see we have these 2 order bumps. So this has also been a game changer, I think, for increasing our average cart. Yeah, you want to talk about that, Elector?
Yeah, so to give everyone an idea, the initial sale, we don't make money on the initial sale. So if we spent $600,000 on ads last month, we are losing if we just sold the 10-day business plan that we have, right? And that brings us to, let's say every time we make a sale, it costs us about $120. We want to make sure that our average cart is above that, right? As long as our average cart is above $120, we can actually be profitable on an ad. So, which is why we love HighLevel, because we can add these bumps. So before they actually check out and put in their credit card, we will give them, an additional 2 different offers, right? If they want to get the rest of our courses that we have for a super deal for like $69, or if, what's the other one? If they want to
unlock all 10 days.
to unlock all 10 days quickly, they can also add that. So the Olive Billie Jean bump, which is a $69 price point, we get about 20 to 25% on this page to take it, right? So imagine if you're selling something and you don't have a bump, you're losing a good amount of change there if you're not continuing to offer things, right? So that is kind of our model here.
I think to add to that too, I think a lot of funnels, you'll see like one bump. So just like this one offer for Olive Billie Jean, but because HighLevel allows you to have multiple bumps, that's also been a game changer for us. So we're like, what, we're going to offer 2 things here. So not just this Olive Billie Jean, but do you also want to unlock all 10 days? So this is, I think, is an important kind of lesson on creating an offer. So up here, obviously, it's something that we've built for years now. It's a collection of everything. But if you want to just like add an extra something and you don't really have like a physical or like a digital product, this is just like, how would you describe this offer? It's like,
yeah. So, I mean, what we do is like, a lot of people are impatient. They just want to get something done faster, right? We recommend to everyone, for example, this is a 10-day plan, to do it day by day, right? That is a recommendation. Take your time, do it day by day. There are people who just want to speed through and do it in 1 or 2 days. We'll give them the option, and then, we charge a little extra for that. It's a little bit more heavy on our customer support side. It's a little bit more organized if people are taking a day-to-day basis for us. So we just threw that in there, and when we calculated the software, we're just like, we got to charge a little bit for it. So it's not too much, but that's kind of how we positioned it.
Yeah, but definitely throws in like an extra few. Go ahead.
So I got a couple of questions for y'all. If you want to stop sharing, I'm seeing the page here, our HighLevel page, just going through a couple of thoughts. So in the context of this whole thing, sorry, let me stop walking. I forget I'm on a in the context of this whole workshop, what we're doing is teaching people how to go to market, provide a marketing service around AI, right? And we're going to go to market and charge, let's say, $2,500 or $1,500 or $3,000 or whatever that's appropriate for a local business. How much ad spend do you think they would need to do, like run, before they can get their own acquired client, like as an agency or as a marketing service provider? I think that's the first layer of question. The second layer of question is, how much ad spend would you need to prompt your customer to provide to you as part of the budget for them to get customers, or like at the end business to get customers? Thoughts, concerns, ideas, anything you want to share on that?
Yeah. So to answer the first question, how much would I need to spend to acquire a client for myself? So like the good thing when it comes to like Facebook, YouTube advertising, we'll talk about Facebook first, is like, it's like a water faucet. You can turn it on, you can turn it off. If it's getting you leads, if it's getting you clients, you keep spending money. But if it's not, then you pause it and you try something else. So I think Billy mentioned like, what is it? 2,500, I think. Is it 2,500 per client? So, I mean, if you spent $1,000 on ad spend and got 1 client, is it worth it? I would say so, because you're still up, right? But that doesn't mean necessarily that it's going to cost you $1,000 every single time. So I think if you want to start with a budget of like $20 a day to start and see, how many leads come through or what the lead quality is like, you could always start there. But I think if you have that threshold of, I'm charging $2,500, so whatever it takes to get that first client, like under $2,500, if that makes sense.
Yeah, got it. And just to add to that, there's a lot of things you can do and a lot of warning signs that you can see and pause it early, right? Initially what I would do in the situation is, if my product or service costs $2,500, I would want to spend about $2,500 or a little bit more to see if I can gain a sale from that, right? But for example, if I'm collecting leads first and, each lead is costing me, $100 or $200, I'm going to pause it a lot earlier than waiting to get my next sale, because that gives me very low percentages to close the amount of people I may need to actually make this business model work, right? So what I would recommend everyone to do, and it always depends on everyone's different situation, right, is kind of reverse engineer the situation. What you want to do is you want to know your metrics and estimate before you even start building the ad. You want to know what your target potential cost per lead is. You want to know what your target cost per sale is. And once you have those things down and you do the math a little bit, then you'll know very easily be able to tell, I need to pause or not, right? You can even have a cost per click goal, right? If your cost per lead is, for example, the goal is $10 and your cost per clicks are 5, you need to relook at your ad, because you only have a 50% chance of actually getting a lead on the page, right? Your page needs to convert at 50%. So really, I know that's like a lot of math to throw at, but math is so important when it comes to running ads. We wouldn't be able to understand when to pause or when to keep running if we didn't know every single metric beforehand and had those kind of warning moments of like, all right, cost per click is too high, we need to find new targeting. Cost per click is too high, we need to change the ad.
I also want to add to that too, like when you're just starting out, you might not even need to start with running your own ads. I think it's a really good idea to look within your network. Start with, everyone has probably a dentist, a chiropractor, everyone knows a business owner probably that you can start with, and let that be your case study, or let that be your first client. So if you're just starting out, I would say, look within your own network or your extended network, post on, Facebook. I think Billy did a lesson like the last time we were here with you guys in December. Billy went through like a whole like playbook, a prospecting playbook. So like those kind of strategies where don't feel like you have to just start advertising right away to get a client, because there are opportunities within your own network or within your own extended network that you can take advantage of first.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other side of it is the billing strategies also matter a lot on cost of acquisition, right? So let's say you're running a billing plan where the customer has to pay the first 90 days. That's basically, now you're taking a $7,500 ticket to to be acquired instead of just a 2,500. And
Right.
this math all makes sense because we're focused on recurring revenue, and we're also focused on subscription revenue. If you're doing this, let's say, to go sell a $2,000 website on WordPress, and that's all you're doing, you're probably going to be on thin margins because you don't have another payment coming from that customer. So just always remember that. And the other side of it that I've always learned is it's okay to have a setup fee for any services. And that also alleviates your cost of acquisition. And cost of acquisition on paid ads as a provider is pretty high. And so is SaaS, right? SaaS to me is even higher sometimes. But the way the math works is recurring revenue, subscriptions, as well as setup fees. Though that's what actually contributes to, kind of evening out or neutralizing your cost of acquisition that can kind of go rogue or kind of wide depending on how your skills are. Like Ray said, if you're doing this to your extended network or warm network, your cost of acquisition is your time, not necessarily, money you spend on a platform or whatever. But anything you guys want to add to that?
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly it. Like, in the end, it's ultimately like, are you making more money than you're spending, right? So if it costs you a little bit more for that initial client, then that's okay, because if you do well, which, follow the strategy and everything, you will, you most likely will, then they're going to keep coming back and paying you month after month. And then, to answer that, the second question of yours about, okay, once I have this client, how much do I take from them for budget? I would
Sure.
say
Yeah.
like as minimum as like $500 to maybe like $1,000. But again, it's that same saying of like, if it's working, we'll keep spending. If it's not working, we're not committed to spending this full 500. We can pause it. Like I had clients who were a little shy and a little afraid, and we'd start with like $15 a day. And then once I showed them, hey, this is killing it, this is working, they're like, okay, here, take my money. So it just kind of depends there. But I would say like minimum start with like $500, $1,000. And then if it's doing well, let's spend more money. And they're usually happy to do that.
There's always a learning phase.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And these are some of the things that I learned from School of Genius and Gene
Yeah.
Pool and all these programs back in the day. Just FYI, I remember talking to customers for my agencies. I've had two agencies of my own, and one which is the white label marketplace behind HighLevel. But either way, whenever you deal with customers, they will somehow tell you about the latest new thing that they've never ran marketing for. I had this new thing that I want to test
Yeah.
this out for. So usually the offers are garbage that customers are giving you because it's never been proven. And then you have, basically a $500 budget to go to market against all competitions with like no clear offer. So a lot of times marketers say yes, agency owners say yes to that and set kind of themselves up for failure. And the other thing is the type of traffic, right? So you're the Facebook ads traffic versus Google ads, YouTube ads, TikTok ads, Snapchat ads, Bing ads, all these have different budgeting sequences, budgeting criteria that will give you different types of traffics as well. Can you guys explain, what it's like to run a Google ad agency versus a Facebook ad agency when it comes to AI and ads? Like, do y'all see different types of traffic being ran by agencies for their
Yeah.
customers? Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say just from like our experience, like our main traffic source with our agency was Facebook. There were some clients that we ran YouTube ads for, but that was kind of like in the beginning of like when we were also getting into YouTube and crushing it there. But I think one thing with it when it comes to like agency is the customer doesn't really care how you get them customers, right? They just want them. So if you're using Facebook, TikTok, Google, like whatever platforms you are, ultimately they just care about the result. But for us, I think it's easier and more manageable when you are like simplified and like focused on one avenue. So for me, like I was able to manage 60 clients by myself because it was the same exact niche, it was the same exact ad and the same exact platform. Like I ran those Facebook ads for 60 clients and I was able to like still have a life. So I think that when it comes from like, okay, if I want to start an agency and like, how do I want to structure it? I think that is like the most simplified, like easy way to do it. And then when it comes to AI, like as we saw, AI is just saving us so much more time because now I don't need to think about what the ad is going to say. I can have AI write it. I don't have to make the content myself because AI can create it for me. And Facebook has already made so many advances with AI and targeting. And that's actually been a big game changer for us. If you want to talk about that, Hector, the AI advantage plus targeting too.
Yeah. So something that we've been using is the Advantage Plus targeting on Facebook, and it's pretty much AI doing the work. It's managed probably the bulk, like half of our spend, and you pretty much just create the ad, run it, and it really finds the audience for you. I didn't add any audience or anything like that. I didn't add an age group. I didn't do any of that. It's kind of this new AI targeting, but it also, I think it definitely bases it off of like the historical data in your account, right? So that is important to have, that you actually have conversions on your pixel, for example. So yeah, I mean, that's probably like the most simplified way to create a Facebook ad that has been working very well, and I'd highly recommend everyone to try it. But another thing that helps us a lot is actually lookalike audiences based off of actual buyers, right? So we'll create a lookalike audience based off of everyone who's bought an AI course. We will create a lookalike audience based off of everyone who has purchased more than $5,000 and they're considered a high ticket buyer. We'll also create lookalike audiences off of people who are in a subscription. We're just trying to find similar people in those audiences to target them, and that also has helped a lot.
So I want to show my experience, just kind of context of what we're talking about here. So this is the back end of Facebook. This is where typically you would insert your audience. So like we showed, I think on day one, you put like a specific location, the age, the gender, and then back in the day, like working with like gyms, I would do certain like health and fitness kind of targeting to really find our specific audience. But now, years later, with everything with AI and with Facebook, keeping up with the AI times, they have this button right here that says use Advantage Plus audience. And that basically like tells AI to find the audience for you. So just to kind of like sum up that whole thing there, like if I were to pick a platform and like a focus, I would say start with Facebook. It's been around. It's constantly staying updated. People are obviously still there. They're still trained to like click ads, buy things from it. So Facebook is a great place to start with like advertising and getting customers for yourself or for your clients.
Yeah, and just to touch on Google a little bit, if your brand is growing and you have awareness out there, I mean, we use Google for just targeting all different variations of people typing in Billie Jean as marketing, and the name of our courses, and we do retargeting text ads, or search ads, and that has done very well in regards to, hey, if we just are looking for smaller margins but very profitable campaigns, definitely do those.
Yep. Cool.
For your client, if you're working with a client, right?
Love it. Can you also clarify the way people manage the relationship with the clients? What does that look like when it comes to, do you take a payment up front? People are asking, hey, do we split commission with them based on performance? Like I personally ran an agency where I charged a flat fee as a retainer for my services, regardless of the results. Then they gave me dedicated budget separately outside of that retainer. And that's the style I've always done. But what are y'all's thoughts? Actually, I think I learned it from you guys all back in the day. Like that was a recommended model back in the day.
Yeah, that is still our recommendation, I would say. So that flat fee, so in this case, if we're saying our $2,500, that is our flat fee. That's going to be that monthly retainer. That's what they're paying you to do what you do. Then in addition to that, maybe there's like a $500 or $1,000 budget, then that goes directly to Facebook. And that's how like I would sell it. Because also at the same time, like back then, our process was so dialed in. Like I was doing sales calls. Like I would do the presentation, and that's what I would tell them. Like, yeah, it's just $1,500 a year, and then that goes directly to us. That's what we do. And then just $1,000, and that goes straight to Facebook, right? And we don't have to spend that full thing. It's just depending on how it works. And then they're usually like, okay, cool, yeah. So that would be kind of like how we close the deal. That's what we agree to. So they pay the $2,500. We've got the $1,000 like budget for the month. And then like the onboarding process from there would just be making sure we have access to like the accounts, the Facebook page, that I can run the ad from there. And then when it comes to like actual communication, for the most part, like they get a text notification every time a lead comes in. Sometimes we'll have like maybe like a shared Google spreadsheet so that we can both see, transparency, the leads coming in. And then I can also see on their end, like, are you even following up with these leads? So like, imagine you had a spreadsheet, it had all of the contacts, and then maybe like a status column or like a notes column. Because if my job is to deliver you the leads, it's your job to close them. So I want to see that like you're holding up your part of the bargain, right? I'm going to give you these leads, you have to close them. So I want to see that you are doing that. So I think that's a really good way for transparency and kind of make sure everybody's doing the right job. And then when it comes to actually like communicating, obviously when things are kind of good, I didn't really have to talk to them as much. If anything, it'd be like maybe once a week or once at the end of the month when it's like, hey, you ready to re-up your budget? We're running out of money. Everything's going good. That was kind of the communication there. If it was somebody who maybe the ads weren't going as well, or maybe they weren't as happy, there was more frequent conversation. But the biggest thing that I learned, like from working here and like maybe making a mistake or two in the very beginning, is when it comes to like the client, you never want them to be the one to reach out to you and be like, what's going on? I'm not getting any leads. You always want to stay ahead of it and be like, yes, I know we haven't gotten leads, or leads have been expensive the past couple of days, so that they know that you're paying attention and that you are focused on it. So that's just like a little account manager tip there, is always stay in front of it so that you don't have any fires. Cool.
So I'm seeing a couple of questions here. Is there anything you guys want to share outside of what you shared on the 600K ad spend before we go into Q&A here?
No, I mean, we have the rest of the funnel. We can quickly go through it if we want to.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, so you guys saw the first step there with they got the 2 bumps there. Another really cool thing about HighLevel, and for us, we have a global audience, so we target worldwide. We have 185 customers in 75 different countries.
185,000.
185,000. That's what I meant. But yeah, so because of that, like having the different options of like Google Pay, PayPal, like all of that has actually helped with our conversions too. And that's a really cool feature of HighLevel that allows us to do that easily. But the rest of our funnel, like the next step in it, this is actually a really cool strategy that has also increased our conversions and increased our average cart. Is, as you can see here, we offered, let me give you a reminder, we offered this all of Billie Jean for 69 bucks as the bump. And then the next step, whether or not they took it, we asked them again. And that has gotten us, how much more percent?
There's another 20%. So in combination, that specific product has yielded 40% of people taking it that go through that funnel just because we asked again, right? That's one big saying we have in here is closed mouths don't get fed, right?
Yeah.
So we're always asking. If you're in our list, you know you're getting an email every day. but we try to make it entertaining and fun, right, to read. So I do think it's important to keep on asking people to to see if they want more of your stuff, if it's helpful for them.
Yeah, so we always do that. Anytime we can ask again, we usually do. We only will do it once, like ask one more time. There's maybe one time we ask like 2 more times, but we always do it in a humorous and funny way, so it's not annoying. And then if people leave, they leave, but at least we got them to get through that first purchase. And then after that, we do have our 16-week program that we do offer in here. So we add like a higher ticket option. Obviously, this doesn't get as many conversions as the front end because it is a higher ticket, but like Hector said, we got to ask. But then the real kind of like, we have our shoes in here. Shout out to the blue bottoms. Because
Yeah, we got the shoes.
Get a pair of Genius sneakers with blue bottoms. We got that in there. But the biggest thing here is our automated webinar on the back end here. So after you get through the funnel and you purchase our 10-day program, we position this as an orientation. So the reason why we don't say like attend this free training or something else, because that can be distracting. But if you just got a program and now someone's telling you to like join the orientation, which feels like an onboarding experience or something like that, then yes, I do want to attend that. We don't say it's mandatory, but we highly recommend it. And this is basically an automated webinar. We use Webinar Fuel, which is a cool software that allows us to automate the webinar. They enter their email, they choose a time. We usually do 2 options that they can pick from. And that has also been a big contributor to getting people into our 16-week program automatically.
Yeah, and there's something there I want to kind of dig into really quick that Rhea mentioned. So yeah, we use the word orientation, right? So whenever, it doesn't have to be necessarily for this, but if we're promoting something else, we really look outside on what is fatigued, right? There's a lot of words out there that a lot of different businesses and a lot of different coaches uses in regards to trying to get someone to watch something, right? So we'll literally sit in the conference room where we'll brainstorm together and be like, all right, let's ask ChatGPT, give us 50 different words for this particular, scenario. And we just want to sound different. So I think that's very important, is these little subtleties. They're important when it comes to, hey, I want to join an orientation versus, hey, there's the training that everyone's talking about, right? But yeah, that's pretty much the main funnel, right? It's our 10-day business plan. We offer 2 bumps. On the first upsell, we offer one of the bumps again, and then we offer our shoes, and then we offer our high-ticket program, the accelerator program. And then if they don't buy that, we take them into that orientation, which is a 2-hour kind of webinar. That gives a lot of value. It helps. It does orient them into the product that they bought, but then they get asked to buy our accelerator again. And then HighLevel is doing a bunch of magic in the background, right? So every step of the way, depending on what action you did, we have emails firing out, we have text messages firing out, we have voice drops firing out. Now that we can clone Billy's voice, we can create them on our own. We just have to ask a little permission. But yeah, we send people automatic, pretty much phone calls. And then, we have a whole bunch of, automations going on here with HighLevel that that honestly is the magic to helping us actually make this profitable.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned in the beginning, if we just offered one product in the front end, we would be losing money. But because of all these, tactics and these systems that we're allowed to play with this software, we just get so much more.
Yeah, so the really, like they say, like the fortune is in the follow-up for sure. So that's our front end offer. But how we really monetize this thing is anyone who purchases this 10-day program, our goal is to upgrade them or upsell them into the 16-week program. And those are our hottest buyers because they've already agreed. They've already raised their hand and said, I'm interested in making money using AI. So it's like, perfect. Now, if you want us to hold your hand and you really want to make a career out of this, then join our 16-week program. And that has really been killing it for the past year and really been working for us.
Yeah. And just to give you, like, you'll see this, and it looks like a lot, and it took us a little time to build, right? But it's process is so important. Even there's more going on even after this, right? So for example, if there are registrants on our webinar that see the pitch, we can download those registrants, and then we have a sales team that calls people who saw the pitch and didn't buy, on top of the follow-up emails that we send them. And they have a script ready, so they'll call them and be like, hey, you know what, you made it to the end of the webinar. I'm guessing if you didn't purchase, maybe you needed to talk to a real human being to get some questions answered. So then their sales come in there too. So it's we've really worked very hard on this process. So yeah, if you have any questions on that, please.
Yeah, and to add to that, one thing that Hector said too is, like, yes, we have our sales team too, but we've also done it where AI is calling and AI is booking appointments for our sales team. So we're implementing AI as much as we can in every step of the way, and we have gone all in on AI, and we're really passionate about it. And I think it's been really cool, like being able to like learn all of this stuff with Billy and teach you guys. Like, I have tested and played with so many AI tools in the past like year and a half. So it's been a really fun journey, and it's something that's really cool. And I think it's going to, change lives of so many people. Yeah. Ready for some Q&A?
Yeah.
Hopefully that was helpful. Get a little sneak peek behind the scenes of what we do every day.
Absolutely. So let me go through some questions here. And what I'll do is just present relevant questions, because there's a bunch of questions that are not relevant to the workshop. So let me just skim through that real quick so we're all on the same page. Okay. Bianca says, what is a student portal? Do you guys have a student portal for all your students or something? Or
yeah, I think she might have mentioned maybe like in our funnel here. So our student portal, like we mentioned, is so the 10-day program, it's hosted online, all the videos, right? We use Kajabi. HighLevel also has, I think, an area too. We just have been using Kajabi for years, so there's a lot of stuff in there. But that's our student portal, and the reason why it's featured here is when somebody buys that 10-day program, like I mentioned earlier, it's really important for us to upsell them into the higher tier program. So sprinkled all within that student portal where they're watching the training videos, we are asking them to join the 16-week program. So we have pitches, we have sidebars, we have buttons, all of that stuff. So that's basically where they get access to the content that they purchased. That's our student portal.
got it. Question, would you recommend a single niche or multiple niches at the same time? Example, service providers, memberships, dental, car sales. Thoughts on niching down?
Yeah, niche is what allowed us when we were doing the agency side, or Rhea specifically, to actually scale, and for her to specifically handle 60 clients at a time. Niche was everything. And once you can prove something for one business, it's your sales pitch to acquire a new one becomes a little bit easier because it's that specific, right? And even when you niche down, it does open up other opportunities within that world, right? So we had Orange Theory Fitness. I think there was like 300 locations. And then, people like Massage Envy started hitting us up, and other people in the health and wellness space. So it's very important to niche down. That's what we would recommend. And also that's something to consider. Look at franchises, right? If you can get one or two clients that is actual franchise, then that's what really kind of was a wildfire for Billie Jean's marketing. Is they started all talking to each other and be like, who's this, like, how's that Orange Theory getting so many customers? And that really helped us scale quickly.
Yeah, and it also just makes your life easier as the advertiser. Like, AI has already cut down the amount of time it takes to build a campaign. But on top of that, if you are niched down so specifically, you don't have to come up with new offers, new landing pages, new anything. And HighLevel makes it so easy to literally just like duplicate an account for a new
Yeah.
client. So that's why it is actually really smart to niche down and be focused, because it saves you so much time. It's proven because you know it works for this client. And HighLevel makes it so easy to do that.
Got it. David's asking, what are some good small business niches that can afford and viable to get $2,500 a month? And what have you experienced are tough? So I can add a few notes. If you go into industries that already do marketing, where the idea of outsourcing marketing or bringing in an agency or a freelancer to handle marketing, it's going to be a whole lot easier to close deals like that versus going into, I don't know, like an interior design thing that nobody has ever touched. And then now you're having to educate that entire client before they can spend money on ads. So I've always seen that clients or businesses or industries that already do in marketing lean towards bringing in someone. Thoughts on that? What are some good businesses around the 2,500 mark typically?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ray can touch a little bit more too on it, but what I would say is a good business to find is also a business that has a good offer, right? Because it's going to make you it's going to help you get them results easier, right? If you find a business or a niche that, you know, doesn't have a good offer, your ads are going to be harder to get, you know, low cost, right? And leads for them. So for example, what is a niche that has a good offer is, for example, this one is very competitive, but it's dentists, right? A dentist has that classic offer, you know, come in, get free teeth whitening, and then they upsell you when you come in, right? Most people are going to say yes to that. If they see an ad online, they say, hey, you know, free teeth whitening or free consultation. That is what we like to call here a juicy offer, right? So when we're creating stuff, we're always thinking about, let's rate it on a 1 to 10 desire scale, right? If it's not a 10 on the desire scale, then it's going to be hard to run ads on it. So looking for niches, think about a business that can give you an opportunity to run a good offer.
Absolutely. Anything you want to add to that, Rhea?
I think also like just thinking like ease wise, like something that's easy to like find that customer. Like everybody needs a dentist. It's pretty like it's easier to find somebody who may need like chiropractic help or even like this is a really fun industry, and I know somebody who is killing it, and I'm so jealous of him for doing it. But like, so I get lash extensions. For the men who don't know that, they just like glue little eyelashes on me, so it feels like I don't have to wear makeup. But like that industry has like blown up over the few years, and a lot of these like lash artists are just posting on Instagram. But if you come in as an agency and you blow up their business, they make so much money. You make so much money. That's a really fun industry. So if I ever did my own thing, I'd go there.
Yeah, and one thing I've observed from spending millions on ads as well is if you go into industries that are design or visual sensitive, you typically could do well. Like for example, like a med spa is more visual than a machinist, right? Because they care about their social media presence, where a machinist is like B2B, they have contracts and
Right.
that's kind of it. So if you go with industries that are social centric or social sensitive, typically they care a lot more about marketing in general. The second observation is when you go into industries where it's beauty or personal like care driven, you typically can do a lot better versus like a product often. So for example, teeth whitening, tattoo artists, these are things that are around a person's well-being. And I've noticed that those ads do quite often a lot better versus like, oh, let me buy a course or let me buy a shirt. And I don't know if y'all seen those patterns before.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we sell courses, but we do need a very strong video for it, right?
Right.
And that is a talent that Billy definitely has. As you know, for the people the last 2 days, if you've been here, he's very charismatic. He's a great on camera. It's neat. So exactly what Paulson said. He knows, those other offers, sometimes you just need an image and a good copy, and you're good. Get
Yep,
people in the
absolutely. Can we, somebody's asking, can you share notes on client management? What does the client interaction look like? What does onboarding look like? What does communication between a client and the agency or ourselves look like in general?
Yeah. So, the initial, so I'm trying to think how it was. I would hop on like a Zoom call or like back then it was Google Hangout. And I would walk them through the entire demo, like Billy showed you guys yesterday. At the end, I say, do you want to sign up? They say yes. And then right then and there, I'm onboarding them. So I don't want to do a second call because there's always a chance they might like back out or something like that. Like I want to get everything done so that when we hang up, I have everything that I need to start building and start running your ad. So I get access to their Facebook account. If I'm running it from their ad account, then I'll make sure I get their ad account, or if we're doing it internally, that's also what we did. We would just create an ad account on their behalf in our stuff so that they're not touching anything. I would do that. Obviously, I'd make sure I'd get their budget right away. If they have specific content that I can use, I would get access to that. Maybe it's like on their YouTube, on their existing Facebook page. When it comes to actually like setting up the funnel, that was all like done through me. So in this case, I would just create a new sub account in my HighLevel account, use one of my snapshots from one of my previous clients, and I would just pop it in there. So I have everything built out already. And I just probably change the branding to this client. So that would be kind of like the simple onboarding. And then also, I think key components when it comes to the onboarding is understanding like who the players are, right? So if I brought on like the manager or like the business owner, but they're really not the one managing the day-to-day, I would make sure I got that person's contact. Like, who is it that I'm going to be talking to day-to-day? Who's managing these leads? Who's going to be responsible for them? So making sure that I have that contact information, like that relationship set up, because sometimes the business owner might be the one that's like not as involved, and it's the manager who's managing the day-to-day. So I'd make sure I have that information. And then when you ask them, I think part of the sales script is like, how soon do you need customers? And, you know, some of them are like right away. So that same day or maybe by the next day, I have their ad running. But then if some of them are like, oh, I don't want to actually start running until like next week or something, then I put it on my like build out schedule and I'd get to it a little bit later if I needed to.
Yeah.
So that just kind of depends on like what the agreement is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I would say just like as a general kind of rule, make the whole onboarding process like less resistance for them, right? We want to make sure that they're having a good experience off the bat, first impression, right? So whether that means if, you know, you're setting up their Facebook account, if you want to have some pre-prepared tutorials on how they can add you as a business manager or do anything like that, great. If you want to take it to the next level and you want to hop on a Zoom call and just tell them to have their tabs open and request remote control, and then you can actually do it on their screen, because maybe they might be a little hesitant to give you their personal information, then you can walk them through that, right? But we want just really to consider the resistance level between you and the client to make sure that they're happy. That sets the tone. Everyone starts on a good foot, and that protects your time, more importantly, too, for you, right? Because if you're trying to get stuff done, you're trying to build their funnel, and it's one email after another, and then they can't figure out how to get this, you know, their stuff set up or give you everything that you need. Then while you're dealing with other clients, it just takes so much time away from you. It sucks the time out of you. So I'm really thinking about that.
Yeah. And then when it comes to like the communication aspect of it, like I mentioned earlier, it kind of just depends on like how needy the client is. Like some of them are pretty chill and you maybe only have to check in like once a week, or maybe you send them like a weekly report. I would do that sometimes, kind of give them a weekly report of this is how much we spent, this is how many leads, this is the remaining budget, so that they just always know that you're on top of it and that you're paying attention to their account. And then of course, if they're a little bit more, they want a little bit more, maybe I'll do like an end of day report or like every few days, something like that. But there's one thing I wanted to add to that and I forgot what it was. It might come back to me. But yeah, communication. Oh, contract wise. So when we had our agency, we didn't have like an official written contract. It was kind of just an agreement that we would work together month to month. But if for whatever reason we weren't delivering results, you're not happy, all we ask is just like a 30-day notice before you cancel. So then when they give us that, it gives us 30 days to save it. or it gives us 30 days to kind of just like close things out. So that was just kind of like how we did things. But we always wanted to make sure that we always knew if the client was going to cancel. Like, it was never really a surprise because we knew, okay, maybe the ads weren't working as well or something. So as long as you're like in front of everything, like, it's pretty easy to manage the client.
Got it. So a couple of more questions here that kind of came in. When doing so I just want to add one note. So
Yeah.
in the early days of some of Billy's programs, I don't know if it was 2015 or even before that, but like 2016, I think is when I jumped in. One of the cool things that a lot of agencies were doing in Billy's like inner circle programs and all of that was during the onboarding time. Back in the day, it took us like a week to like launch ads because you got to get approved. It took 3 days, got to get the budget, all these things happening. So like during that ramp up time, what we would do is run database reactivations like Rob Bailey teaches or Mike Kuchar,
Yeah.
where we would create a result that they're going to be excited about. So that way, when they come into like our first call or check-in call, we can talk about a positive result that's generated even before ads are live, right? So that is one of the biggest like switches we made in all of our agencies, especially the Billie Jean community. Like almost everybody was running result-driven, fast-paced text messaging or whatever you wanted to do to create that result, even if it's reviews. So if you're doing a reviews campaign, we would launch reviews, and then we would go to the customers and be like, hey, we got 5 new reviews that you've never seen before. Can we just review? Can we just do this real quick and show you the results? And by the way, on Monday, ads will launch. So it was such a soft, like, a cushion to be able to stand on and like have some sort of a result while there's like a onboarding ramp up time. Anything y'all want to add to that? Because I know that was like a big thing for a long time.
Yeah, no, that definitely was even before that. I remember in the very, very early days, there was like page like campaigns. And those were like, I mean, back when people actually cared how many page likes you had on Facebook, obviously those don't really matter as much. But sometimes we do that for a client and they'd be super jazzed about it. We don't do that anymore. I wouldn't recommend doing that. But yeah, like any kind of reactivation type of campaign, like you take their database, send them a text message, send them emails. You can do all that through HighLevel. That is an excellent way to like start bringing in those results now. But also the benefit nowadays, because of HighLevel and because of AI, it might not even take you a week for that like ramp up. You could probably do it in like 24 hours, 48 hours. So that's kind of the difference. It is an option if you need fast results or if you need like in addition to results kind of thing. But today we can do things so fast.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna pull up my phone here for more questions because there's so many questions coming in. It's like not loading on my desktop. Let's see. Someone says, do you have how-to videos available to us as mentioned? In example, add me as an admin to a Facebook page. So I know all those steps are part of Billy's like programs and stuff. You could definitely find that. I know in the HighLevel YouTube channel, there's content there. Any other resources y'all might recommend?
Yeah, I mean, HighLevel has excellent resources when it comes to actually like using HighLevel. I still look at them today sometimes when I need to. But as far as our stuff, like especially with the 16-week program, because it is designed for people starting from scratch and like ground zero, we do walk you through all of that, even like how to create an ad account. So that's definitely something we can hold your hand through and walk you through in that 16-week program.
Got it. Okay. David's asking, does Billie Jean or HighLevel have some type of a list with experience or analyzed metrics like CPM, CPC, ROAS for different niches? Do either of you have popular SOPs? Answer is yes, but to what detail? I don't know if it's applicable to everybody, right? Thoughts?
Yeah. No, I mean, I wouldn't say we have an actual like resource to hand out, if anything. Probably, yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely know our metrics very well. Our stat sheet, the important metrics that we cover. When I send to Billy, it's spend, cost per abandoned cart, percentage of abandoned carts. It is a number of sales, percentage of that sale, or the percentage of on the landing on the sales page. It is each individual upsell and the percentage of how that upsell is converting. It is the backend offer of how many people did the sales team close from the buyers to our higher ticket program. And that's he wants, it's good to look at all, just not just the raw numbers, but also the percentages, because when we're looking at improving things in our funnel, whether it is for us or for a client, we don't like to change multiple things at a time. The first thing we do is we look at what percentage can we increase the easiest, right? With the less amount of work. Because sometimes if we wanted to make sure to be profitable, all we needed to do was add a different bump versus spending an entire day shooting a new video, right? Or an entire day creating a new page. So what I would focus on is definitely when you're building your own metrics, know the percentages, because then all you really needed to do in a certain part of your funnel to make it work was increase it by 1% if you're at scale, right? But as far as, our historical data on different clients with like Orange Theory Fitness, I mean, that's probably changed so much on what an actual cost per lead was back then versus now. I mean, back then it was probably super cheap, and now it's probably like tripled.
Probably a little bit higher, yeah.
Let's see. Next question. How many leads / client could I get for a gym under a budget of 500? $80 average on a membership. So like these are questions that are kind of like, in my mind, driven to one client or one case scenario, which is going to be so varied based on the industry, the type of offers, the colors. If you have red looking advertisements versus blue, like it's going to have differences, and also platforms. So that's, I don't want to go through that. Let's see. When it comes to margins, okay, here's a great question. When it comes to margins, what are margins you shoot for as an agency? Like as a freelancer, as a marketing service provider, what are you looking for when it comes to profitability every month?
Yeah, I mean, as far as if we're talking about when we're running a funnel, or when we're running an ad,
I guess as a business for an agency, like, are you looking at a 50% margin in general? Let's say you have 10 clients at 2,500 each. Are you looking to take home, 12K? Is that the goal? Is that the standard? Like what exactly is the standard? I know the bigger you get, the thinner your margins versus in the beginning, it's just you doing all the work. So it does shift quite a bit, but thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, that's a tough one to answer for me. As far as marketing, the marketing team, we know what numbers and metrics we need to hit. As far as the business in total, that would be more of our CFO or Daniel question in regards to what our margins need to be, so that we can cover payroll, cover our VAs, cover the office building, cover all this stuff.
Yeah. I guess the question is not about Billie Jean is marketing that business.
No.
I think the question is about agencies in general. Like, hey, as a freelancer, what should be my profitability that I should shoot for?
Okay. I don't know if we'll have like an exact percent, but I can say like, because of AI, I think Billy said this once too, like, and it seems kind of shocking, but like a 70% profitability, but that's because there's so much, like, AI saves you so much time and money, because you don't need like a whole media team, because you can use AI to create content. So you don't have like that kind of overhead, and you could do a lot of this like solo. So your margins will be better in that case, and you will have higher profitability because of that stuff. So I don't know the like exact percent it would be, but like knowing with AI, it does help a lot with that.
Yeah. I will say one thing is when thinking about margins as well, I know Billy has said it before. He kind of would mention a little bit about designing your life first, of like what you want, right? Because then you can build your business to accommodate that. So for example, if you want a more lavish lifestyle, then you have to figure out certain margins and certain profit for your business to actually make sense to accommodate that. So I know it's not exactly answering the question either, but that's my little 2 cents on that too.
Yeah, I mean, I can add a few things to it, since I've had agencies in the past myself. So like my dental agency, it was more of like a high ticket agency, almost 3,500 to 5K, and I would do all of marketing. So I would do Facebook ads myself, then outsource Google, YouTube, SEO to someone else. I even had some VAs doing like social posting, because back then we didn't have AI and all these things. So then I would go in and basically look for like a 50 to 60% margin for every item I outsourced. So if I So for SEO, if my outsourced SEO charged me 1,500, I would, or if I charge 1,500 to my client for SEO, I would make sure I can get the job done for less than 700 or 600, because that's the checkbox. Because something will go wrong in that SEO lane, right? So then I have to cover for that, make sure something's covered, and that's the way I looked at it. And then for my own services, in the beginning, early stages, I'm in the back of the ads manager building these things out and like learning a bunch of different stuff. Matter of fact, I had plenty of fellow students in Billy's programs like Roxanne Ray, Rob Bailey, Nick Rod,
Yeah.
Josh
Nice.
Nelsons. These
Yeah.
guys have all jumped into my ads manager in the past to make sure I
Yeah.
deliver results, because we were part of that community. Like that was kind of a collaborative environment because everybody's helping each other fulfill,
It's
share
still that way too.
ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like a lifesaver for me, because I'm like, oh
Yeah.
crap, I felt like a rookie back then, but in reality, it was a collaborative environment, so I never felt like I was worried about margins. And if something went sideways, I always was able to come back to a community and just kind of figure out solutions, right?
Yeah.
So then later on, I ended up getting more confident into sell bigger tickets and bigger tickets, and I just niched down and just had same type of delivery. In an
Yeah.
agency like that, even though I had multiple services, because I focused on one type of client, my margin was predictable. Versus if I went into a mode of having traditional services, maybe like 5 or 6 or even 7 different industries, then my margins will be different, right? Like I would have to outsource SEO for a machinist versus a dentist. These are two
Yeah.
different budgets, two different lanes, two different types of thoughts. Ads don't work as well, and when you go down that route, so there's a lot of variability on that question to answer it exactly. But these are some of the things and notes that I want to share with all of you, because
Yeah.
different type of agencies have different margins and goals. Um, let's kind of close out, if y'all don't mind,
Oh, yeah.
on trial. So try this free trial. I know that's a 30-day trial to HighLevel. That's Billy Jean's affiliated link. What do they get with that? I know Billy had said he's going to provide sales slides from yesterday. I know the day one we had a bunch of like sheets and stuff like that. Ray, I think you might have
Yeah.
shared. Can you just give us like a checklist of items that
Yeah.
we're going to get if we jumped into a trial?
Yeah,
We
yeah. So try this free trial, that link right there. So that's 30 days high level for free. You can test it out, you can try it out. If for some reason you don't like it, which I don't think that's gonna happen because I love it, then you can cancel risk free. But yeah, 30 days. I think normally if you just like go to High Level's website, it's like 14 days. So you get that extra like 2 weeks, which is awesome. And then so once you sign up for that trial, we're also going to give you access to the worksheets and all of the resources that we used on day one, as well as that full sales pitch, like the slides, the script itself from yesterday's sales pitch. I think we also can share some of our snapshots, maybe.
yeah, we can share snapshots. We can also give you all of the courses that we've ever created too.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
so here's what we'll do, everybody. Our team at HighLevel, we're gonna create a customer-facing Google Drive dedicated to the workshop. So we'll throw all these goodies in there, PDFs and stuff like that, snapshot links and all of that. Whatever I get from Billy's team, I'll throw that into a Google Doc as well. Today's Wednesday. Give me till like Thursday to have all that set up. It's going to be a lot of emails back and forth to make sure it's all done right. But feel free to jump into this trial. Any final thoughts? Any final words as we kind of close out the 30-day workshop, y'all?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say how important, high level has been for us. Like, really take this trial. As you can see, like we talked about, how to make $1 million using ads, AI, and high level. And the first day, all the worksheets that we're going to be giving you, that's our entire process to, build out a profitable funnel for our clients so that you can find a specific niche and then also scale that, right? Then actually selling them, right? When you get on the phone with them, the sales presentation that Billy covered yesterday. Plus all of our courses and everything else that we explained today, we showed you our funnel. That is all, a major part because of high level. So I know it sounds like, I'm just pushing this really hard, but it's something that has been massive for us. So definitely go to trythisfreetrial.com. We're going to hook you up with a bunch of good stuff. And,
Absolutely.
last but not least, Paulson, thank you so much for setting all this up.
For sure.
So much work behind it. and you run like 2 or 3 of them, 5 of them a month. It's insane. It's incredible. And it's been a pleasure, obviously working with HighLevel, and Billie Jean is all in with you guys. So we definitely love this partnership.
Yes, cool. Thank you guys
Absolutely.
so much. It's been fun being here 3 days. The HighLevel audience is always so warm, so welcoming. You guys are awesome. And just kind of like sprinkle a bit more like how much I enjoy HighLevel. Like I am in there every single day. I love using it. I love teaching it. It's so simple. And I think how just like current and fast they are when it comes to like AI, like the amount of like things they've put out in the past like year and updates with AI has been so cool to see, so awesome that it's like so fast and on top of it. So if there's any like software you need as a marketer, as an agency, like HighLevel is it. It's everything. So we couldn't do our job if we didn't have it. So we appreciate it.
Well, thank you for those kind words. We appreciate it. Everyone will have the replays posted in all of our social channels, in the YouTube channels, or wherever. Give us like a day or two to get all the resources put together. We'll have it in the dedicated Google Drive. If you need anything else extra in case if you're stuck doing something, you can always go to speakwith.us/success, and that's where you can jump into a one-on-one Zoom call with us 24/7 any given time, no matter where you are with someone at HighLevel. But anyways, have a good rest of your afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another 3-day workshop, and this time with Billie Jean and his entire team. Cool. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
But we